on your upper right shoulder. And the reason why it goes on your upper right shoulder is when Lou Ann and I shake hands, the eye naturally goes up the right arm and it stops here. So now, and here's a message for the ladies, upper right arm. If it's lower, the gents are going to look. And if it's on this side, they're going to look back and forth. So upper right shoulder, it's great that these are easy and bold. I actually carry a Sharpie marker with me when I go to an event, because the last thing in the world you want to do, and you guys are probably all under 40, but for those of us who are not, when you write your name with a pen, this is not an eye test. I just want to know your name. I don't want to have to squint to figure out what your name is. So make it real easy. And the easier you are to work with, the easier you are to network, more and more people are going to want to say, you know, come in my office and I want to help champion you in your program. The other thing is that if I'm sitting down for a one-on-one or if I'm sitting down for a meeting, I actually pull out my watch and I put my watch on the table and I say, is it Mike or Michael? Mike. So I say, Mike, I know you were kind enough to give me 15 minutes. I just want to be sure we're all on the same page about that. It's 8:45 right now. You know, we'll wind this up at 9 o'clock. Now, I actually think it's nice to pull out a watch other than looking at your iPhone. You know, because it also depends on who you're talking to. If you're talking to somebody who did not grow up on an iPhone, you know, you think you're looking at your watch. I think you're reading your mail. And so there's different messages that get sent there that could be, you know, misleading. Same thing in a networking event. It just cracks me up when someone pulls out their phone. I'm like, did you get an important message? You know, am I boring? Do you not want to talk to me anymore? I mean, these are the kinds of things that you want to be very mindful of what your body language communicates. Food is going to be a part of most networking situations. It is this morning. And then you have this kind of dilemma. Do you network or net eat? And so one of the challenges is you want to kind of pick your situation and make it comfortable for you. What made it easy this morning is there were places for you to sit. The food was here. You had a chance to clear your places before you kind of got going in your morning. And then that's a kind of, but you want to kind of think about how does the food fit into this. And at some point you're going to be planning situations and you want to think on the other side of it, how can I make it really, really friendly for people? There's one event I went to and they serve these wonderful little, I don't know, it was anyhow, it had a bone. The next thing you know, I'm walking around with a bone. I'm like, okay, I have a greasy hand and a bone, and I really want to shake hands with somebody important, and I don't know what to do now. So, you know, again, you want to be sure you're kind of, again, thinking about, is this going to cause attention, and is it going to take attention away from me and my conversation and how I can help these two people come together? Number 6, it says approach the VIPs first. I can share with you, I go to lots of different events, and when I've researched the speaker, when I've researched the VIP, I often will go say hello to them ahead of time. Now, one, it's a really nice thing to do, because I'm an outsider today. I don't work at Fidelity. So it's always really kind of nice when an insider welcomes the outsider, even though I'm the speaker, I'm an outsider. And I saw this happen when I spoke for the American Bar Association, 450 lawyers and me. Ay, ay, ay. And it was just nice when someone came up and said, you know what, I've looked at your bio and I'm really looking forward to hearing, you know, your comments. In order to get over my fear of speaking, in my bio it shares this, in order to get over my fear of speaking, I went and took acting classes at Cambridge Adult Ed, and then I slipped on a rock and I took stand-up comedy. And if you want to be terrified, and I did it because I wanted to know my lines, and I wanted to know how to deliver a line, and comedy is about delivery. And so I thought, well, if I can do this, and it was absolutely terrifying. But this attorney came up to me and she goes, I really want to learn how to do comedy lines, not for my law practice so much, but so I can be a good presenter actually in court. How did that work for you? She had done just, again, that little bit of research, and she made me feel welcomed. So when I walked into a room of 450 attorneys, at least I knew there was one friendly face in the room. So approach people ahead of time. I can tell you, here's a sneak thing you can do, and this happens rarely, but when it does, it's nice. People actually email me ahead of time and say, Diane, I hear you're going to be speaking, or I know you're going to be at such and such event. I look forward to seeing you. One person I know, I have yet to be this gutsy, they actually call the person and leave a message and say, if there's a question you'd like me to ask during the Q&A, I'm happy to ask that question. So there's no reason why you can't put, and what happens is the speaker walks into a room, there's 450 people in the room. I actually did this a couple of months ago. I don't want to say it didn't work, but I left a message for Ken Lewis. He was the CEO of Bank of America. and he was speaking over at the Boston Harbor Hotel. And I left a message at his office and said, is there a question you want me to ask? I'm happy to do it. I never heard back from him. And then during the Q&A, I thought, it was just quiet. I mean, this was about 2 months ago. I mean, there's a lot to ask the question to the CEO of Bank of America a couple months ago. And there were all these questions that actually, if you go to boston.com, and I can send you the clip, but there's a clip of me asking one of the questions. I was the only one to ask about small businesses, and I was the only one to ask the only woman to ask a question. So in many cases, I had visibility in this room of 450 people simply because I asked a question, and I actually met a whole lot of people at that moment. So definitely do a little homework ahead of time. Number 7, talk to people who are by themselves. If you don't think you're an extrovert, they will, and it's fine. And it's a nice thing to do. It's a really nice thing to do. When, just one quick story, a number of years ago, I was at a .com conference, and there was a woman all by herself, and she looked like a mom, and she really didn't look like she fit in, and I felt kind of badly, and I was making a lot of judgments, but I just thought, I'll say hi. And so I asked her connection to the conference. And here's a cheat thing if you want to open up a question. If you ever see somebody and you want to start a conversation, here's your cheat. Tell me followed by anything. So I said, tell me your connection to the conference. You know, tell me how you like your program today. Tell me what you like about Boston. Or tell me how you're excited about your assignment. Tell me opens up the conversation. So I said, you know, tell me your connection to the conference, and it turned out her son was one of the conference planners. So we were chit-chatting, and son saw mom, and he came over to see if mom was okay and was happy mom had a little bit of a buddy. And I'm asking him all the behind-the-scenes questions, and this conference had really cool people. I mean, Dean Kamen was there on his Segway, and I was there researching the networking piece because the conference planner had a 1-hour coffee break. Not 15 minutes, 1 hour, because he says you can't possibly go to the bathroom, grab a cup of coffee, return a phone call, and meet anyone in 15 minutes. And the attendees, he felt, were as interesting as the speakers. So we're having this kind of conversation, and he walks away, and the mom says, thank you, I learned all about my son. You asked the questions that moms are not allowed to ask. So we became buddies, and the whole rest of the time, I got kind of a behind the scenes because the son knew mom had a pal, and I actually kind of met all these people because of the son and because I was nice to mom. So in many cases, talk to people who are all by themselves. Number 8, I spoke a minute ago about my mom being Diane's mom. In the business world, you're often advised to say your name first. I'm actually dyslexic. So I'm going to kind of encourage you to think about doing what I call a dyslexic introduction. And don't say your name first. Say something about yourself first. And this is tricky to do, but one of the things I'll often do is I'll say, good morning, I'm your speaker this morning. My name is Diane Darling. So I've given you something to talk to me about. And if I say my name is, I slow myself down because I can speak fast. And I always know when I've talked fast because the person says, Darlene, so nice to meet you. It's not their fault, it's my fault. This is tricky to do. But it's a really gracious thing for you to do. And you're going to meet amazing people, and they're not going to remember your name. If you say, hi, I'm the one from Michigan, or I'm the one from Illinois, or I'm the one who's really jazzed about going here, my name is, you've given them something to talk about. And if you say, my name is, you've slowed yourself down, and you've let the person know, I'm going to hear a name. I'm going to hear a name. So again, just kind of a really thoughtful thing to do. When we take a break, anybody here ever gotten a bad handshake? Yeah, handshake therapy. Let's talk. Come on. What's your bad handshakes? The dead fish. What else? Too hard. Absolutely. What else? Too soft. Yep. What else? Miss the target. Absolutely. It's like, hey. What else? The pound. Yep. Yeah. I doubt you're going to go to Mr. Johnson and say, hey, dude. You know. Yep. Too long. It's like, hey, we're done. What's your problem? What else? The wet hand? Absolutely. Absolutely. What else? Nope. All right, so here's a couple different things. A standard handshake. Is there anybody here actually briefly for cultural or religious reasons who does not shake hands? And you always want to honor someone's culture or religion. And so if you're ever going to get into the international community, you want to find out these sorts of things. You really, I mean, I've been in many situations where because of their religion, they don't shake hands with women. It's not an insult to me as a woman, it's their religion, and I want to honor that. So you definitely want to find out if there's a reason for that. Certainly when we have the war situation coming back, there's going to be people coming back who are hurt, you know.